time in Division I scoring, just 1 point behind his offensive coordinator, Matt Danowski. How rare is it that one plays two in the ACC? Q, when you think about it, Carolina and Duke have never faced each other as 1-2. That's almost hard to believe.
It's shocking, honestly. You think about Carolina Lacrosse with their national titles in the early 80s, 91 and 2016. Then you think about Duke, 3 titles with Coach Danowski. You think that this is a yearly occurrence. It's not. This is a rare game, 1 against 2. It's Duke and Carolina.
Let's get ready to face it off here. You can see still no fans in Koskinen. That's the only thing missing from this game tonight, as Jake Naso and Zach Tucci prepare to face off to start the game in this one of many matchups that is full of intrigue tonight. Naso, the freshman, wins the first draw, but then he gets leveled, and it'll be a first turnover of the game back to North Carolina. Both these teams winning their ACC openers last week. Carolina beating Virginia. Duke with one of the better games you will ever see against Syracuse right here on this field. Here comes Gray. On JT Giles Harris, keep an eye on that matchup. Big shot. Mike Adler picking up right where he left off with the save.
Adler, who made the save at the buzzer in the Blue Devils win over Cuse, took that one off the left bicep. Good body movement by the Florida native.
That thump, dreadful. Every goalie knows it. Every goalie has to live through it. Just getting the clear across that midfield stripe at the 60-second mark. Now to Kai Montgomery. Renaissance year for Nakai. Q, think about the games we did at the start of last year when Danowski was having such a hard time figuring out his midfield, and Nakai Montgomery a little bit of a slump. He has really turned it on this year.
On a shift-per-shift basis, been the best midfielder I've watched this season.
Now Krieg's turn to make the stop. This freshman, a lot of was expected of Mike Adler, the graduate transfer from St. Joe's for Duke, but nobody knew anything about Colin Krieg. He wasn't even supposed to start with Caton Johnson coming back for North Carolina, but he has taken over that top spot, and he's been fantastic. We get a pole go here, we do! First goal of the night is Matt Wright, the LSM for North Carolina. He'll jump on top early.
Well, clearing has been a strong suit. Cam Macri brings it up, his eyes are up. Wright bails him out by cutting strong. The middle is vacant. Carolina's attack is all spread out. Duke's defense doesn't exist in the middle of the field, and there's Wright, who's put together such a strong campaign from Calgary, played at the Hill Academy. He's a tenacious animal between the lines. He runs really well. He's impactful on the wings of faceoffs.
Naso wins another draw. One of the most impactful freshmen in the country, regardless of position. Certainly he has taken over this faceoffs, this Fogo job for John Danowski and Duke.
Interesting matchup situation for North Carolina. Will Bowen, their best defender, is covering the left hand of the freshman Brennan O'Neill. I believe it's Cam Macri behind the goal, covering Michael Sowers, and they're really pressing out against Sowers to try to deny him the ball.
There you see Macri, 28 on Sowers. Sowers has a step on him, though, and the slide came to help out. This will be a shot deflected before it even got to the goal. High in the air and out of bounds, but given chase was Dyson Williams, and Duke will keep possession.
Looked like Macri is going to be locked up to Sowers, kind of face guarding him, making his touches difficult. And then when Sowers does get it, it appeared that if Carolina sat back in a zone behind it.
Here's Joe Robertson, got the shorty on him. Can he take advantage? Now the slide comes to double to dislodge the ball. Great defensive play by North Carolina.
Tell you the other thing Carolina's doing there, each team's allowed 4 long poles on defense. Now what you do with them is up to you. you create the matchups defensively. In this case, Carolina's putting 2 of those long poles on Duke midfielders. They're actually putting a midfield defender on Joe Robertson.
Bill Bowen, close defender, taking the ball into the offensive side of the field. In a little bit of trouble here, but runs out of it. Will he take a shot? No, he passes it off, and Gray's going to get an opportunity right in Adler's midsection.
Duke's got to run now, counterattack.
Here they come. Robertson, just missed O'Neal.
You got to pick your spots when you run against a runner. Carolina's a team this year, Chris, that they want to play kind of a no-huddle spread lacrosse. Super fast. Trying to score in all situations. Duke is more like a pro style. They'll huddle occasionally. They can play fast, but their offense is more based on structure and discipline.
And Carolina famous for that ride, so the full court press along with that, right, Q? And you got to make them pay for that if you can beat that press.
You got to counterattack. When Carolina runs against you and they're unsuccessful, there's opportunities to run on them, to counterattack their transition.
Second midfield for North Carolina. That's Connor McCarthy. He's been battling injuries all year. The transfer from Princeton to Gray. Tough angle. Forced behind the cage. Now as a step on his defender, and Adler is right there. He's sharp early. Third save for Adler. Here comes McCarthy again. He gets dumped. Now we get a later flag coming in. Ryan O'Connell couldn't handle the pass initially, but this is going to be a penalty against Duke. So a chance for Alex Trippi in North Carolina. Here's Nicky Solomon. First flag of the night. Let's hear from our officiating crew.
Unnecessary roughness against Wilson Stevenson. 19 white for Duke, the 6'3" junior. This kid who's overcome a major leg injury that he suffered back in May of 2019 at the quarterfinals at Hofstra. He's had 9 surgeries. It's awesome and great to see him back on the field for Duke.
Carolina at almost 43% man up. Good for best, 15th best in the country. So they've gotten better every single week on this, but that was not a good start. Ball was deflected, so or was it? Initially I thought it was deflected because we didn't get a whistle. Now we do get a whistle.
So the overback doesn't apply. Yeah. We're going white ball right here. 63.
Because the shot clock was above 60 seconds, you still can take the ball back. The over and back doesn't click in until after the 60-second mark.
Now, okay, so it doesn't count, so it should be North Carolina ball. It almost acts as an inadvertent whistle, I suppose.
44, Matty Palin, one of the top officials in NCAA lacrosse. He's got 3 rings. I don't think he can wear 3 Syracuse orange rings when he's reffing, Cotter. I'm sure he's got a ring or 2 and maybe a watch.
It would just be too upsetting for Danowski. He's already upset enough at that call, but that would just be too much. So 35 seconds left to go with the man up for North Carolina. Perry has a big outside shot. He thought about taking it. Now the skip pass gets through Anderson, and it'll be a turnover, and Duke should be able to work the final 17 seconds off this man down while clearing.
Good job by Duke's defensive structure there. They defend that inside out. Take away the high percentage shots. Allow your goalie to see the ball from the outside. It's a Duke defense, I thought, against Syracuse. They weren't that strong inside. Their interior defensive play has got to improve.
There's our first yard sale tonight.
Almost like a farmer's market in Durham on Sundays. Some of that spring.
Someday. Yeah.
Spring radishes.
Strawberries. Yeah. Someday. We'll all be out there again soon. It's so cold tonight. It doesn't feel like spring here in Durham. It's It's cold all over the country. Tanner Cook made a run at the goal. Adler was all over it. Here comes Adler.
Yeah, he's keeping Duke in this game right now.
And we're going to get a flag against North Carolina.
Clearing has not been easy for Duke today.
Adler with a big pass over the middle. That finally we get the whistle. A little late on that whistle.
Here we go, D! Let's go, D!
Talking to John Danowski, he said 2 things they had to improve. Number 1 was their interior defense. 2, clearing. Anytime you're facing this Carolina team, they throw a multiple different looks in terms of their ride, and that's forechecking in lacrosse. Sometimes they'll press down and send 2 or 3 at your first line of clearing players. Sometimes they'll drop back, and so they mix it up well, disguising their coverages, so to speak.
Nicky Solomon guilty of the infraction, so now we'll see if Duke can use the man up to break this scoreless beginning that they've had to this game. Now Sowers behind, up top to Robertson. Here the sticks clanging on Dyson Williams' cross.
Good job by Lawhead. 50 in white, and Cam Macri. Excuse me, 50 in the Carolina blue.
Officials ruling that a shot, so Duke is able to retain possession. Still 23 seconds on this man up. Here's O'Neal. Tough angle shot. Dyson Williams chased after by Sowers. 14 seconds for Duke.
The lefties on this offensive unit really scare me, whether it's Dyson Williams from the wing or 34 in white, Brennan O'Neal. Both can rip corners.
Here's O'Neal. That's Williams. Caputo. Krieg. You can hear it hit the padding straight up in the air. Now a chase for the loose ball, won by Carolina. Connor Marr, he's all over the place on that rope unit, is able to pick up a tough ground ball.
Both goalies brought their A game, huh?
Yeah. These are the top 2 scoring teams in the country. Lance Tillman, number 0 with the ball in his cross. Coach was saying we're just waiting for him to blow up one of these days. Solomon. Got Brower on him. Up top to Cole Herbert. He's one of the top freshmen in the country. Fires it. Gets deflected. Adler is there. You can see that hit coming. And it's your best player, Chris Gray, on the ride, delivering a little bit of how's your father? Always good to see that, isn't it, Q, when your best player is riding like that, willing to stick his neck out there?
Absolutely sets the tone. Interesting, this defensive strategy as they press out on Michael Sowers behind the goal. You see, look at Macri behind the goal right now, how tight he is to Sowers. It's taken Duke out of their comfort zone. It's thrown off their spacing. It's thrown off their offensive patterns. They weren't really ready for it. Joe Bresci, Carolina head coach, is a guy who's known to use multiple defense, and he's throwing a different look at Duke.
Evan Egan out, the close defender for North Carolina in this game, so Cam Macri getting some time. He's shorter, stout, built low to the ground like Sowers, and that's been the call for Kevin Unterstein to try and D up Sowers. Again, a shot deflected. A lot of bruises
Lowry
coming up
shot.
after this game.
Yeah, Lowry shot. Nice job again by Marr, 31 in Carolina blue. He's going to log a lot of miles in this game today. He's a critical part of Carolina's defense, one of the best in the business.
Team captain Justin Anderson, number 21, 25 years of age. Out of Las Vegas, Nevada. This top midfield unit been around together a long time. Tanner Cook, another part of it, 77. And William Perry rounding it out. slide comes, big hit. Ball loose. Anderson initially picked it up. Now it goes back to Tyler Carpenter and Duke. Carpenter still giving chase and picks up the ground ball. Robertson in front. Here's Sowers. He scores.
Tell you, this starts with some tough, tenacious, and hard checks on the defensive end. And Tyler Carpenter works his way up the field. Robertson, tic-tac-toe, little dip and dunk. Sowers and Duke in business, one apiece.
All knotted up at one. It's taken a little while. Michael Sowers, though, Q on the board.
But when you break down his impact in half-field sets, it's the change of direction, the change of speed, and the ability to get leverage on a defender. He can just flat out break your ankles or run past you. And then if you double team him, you've got problems. The change of direction right here puts the defense in all sorts of vulnerability. His eyes are up. He's able to forecast player movement, anticipates that Robertson's cut is going to leave him open in front of the crease, and the dime is in time and on the spot. As I said earlier, he's one of the best passers in the sport's history, and he's climbing up the all-time points list as we speak.
Yeah, that goal ties him with Mantanowski, his offensive coordinator, for 5th all-time, and he's now just 1 point behind Rob Pennell. Adler, boy, he has been sensational to start this game. And the quick outlet, too. This could lead to offense. Just gets away from Camille. Now we're going to go the other way. Get some oxygen. Nicky Solomon slows it up. Allows Connor McCarthy and company. Will Nicholas to come on the field, 34. That's Jack's grandson. Masters coming up. Apropos. Number 34. Junior out of North Palm Beach, Florida. Attacks the goal, now behind. Nicholas dodging. Chris Gray now up top. In the middle, Adler is a stone wall early in this game. 6 saves for Adler, and here comes Duke. Robertson will shoot. Man, Krieg is there. These goaltenders are playing great.
Tell you, both of them got off to really sharp starts by making the first save of the game on the first possession. They got a touch, too. It's like a puck touch early in the game, and they are both rock solid.
Trippy defender falls down, makes the extra pass, and Adler is there to make the stop. My goodness. O'Neal, we are going up and down the field here tonight.
Oh, what a nice play by Krieg to keep that alive to himself.
Carolina just wants to keep running.
Okay, both goalies standing on their heads. In between, it's a little sloppy. Up and down, odd man rushes. Great tempo, not much on the finishing side.
Yeah, O'Neal point blank. How about that for Krieg? 2 great freshmen.
Well, it was well played by the defender, Chris, who kind of put him in a little question. Should I shoot or should I pass to Sowers? He did a nice job of playing that halfway.
Carolina maybe a little 2-man game behind with Cameron and Cook. Now here's Gray. Yeah, got the short stick on him. Now the slide comes. Gray with his head up. Finds a cutter, and Solomon scores.
Oh, that's textbook. Absolutely textbook. Watch, if you're a young player, watch how Chris Gray handles this double team. Okay, he doesn't force it. He sees the double come, and then he carries both men away with his eyes up. Solomon's able to cut to the vacancy, the soft spot, or the bubble in the defense and finish from a severe angle. As you see the emotion on the goaltender Adler's face. But Chris Gray does such a wonderful job of sucking that double, pulling those players away. Solomon works off of his teammates. Those two got quite a thing going.
Solomon out of Atlanta area, northern suburbs. Brother Nate played at Syracuse. Adler. And Adler's a pretty good athlete, isn't he?
A great surfer. Survived a shark attack. The Duke clearing getting ugly again.
Carolina just relentless, but a good play to get it forward. Now it's an opportunity for offense. O'Neal, he'll shoot. Just can't beat Krieg.
Early in the year, Chris, when we had Duke, we talked about how much we liked their settled offense. A lot of firepower, a lot of weapons, and how much we thought their defense could be okay this year. We worried about the middle of the field stuff. The clearing, the riding, the ground balls in the middle of the field. Sort of like when you're in the gym. You do upper body, lower body. Don't forget the core. Duke can't forget the core right now. That's the middle of the field stuff.
Aiden Denenza, high school teammate of Brennan O'Neal at St. Anthony's.
Sowers being shut off behind the goal. North Carolina electing to play the rest of almost like a 5-on-5.
Duke, one of the best shooting teams in the country coming into this game, just 1 for 10 early. Sowers, watch out here. Tried to get it into Williams, could not. Caputo was there to keep it alive. O'Neal defended well. Well, that's Dyson Williams, and he's going to have a great matchup all night long, isn't he, running out of the box, the former attackman?
Tell you, the lefty from the Hill Academy, north of the border from Canada. Reminds me a lot of Zach Greer, who was a star for Duke. He ducks underneath. Yeah, he's getting shoved down towards the goal line extended, but he reaches that stick back upfield and shoots around the goaltender. His dad was a big-time both field and box player.
Are you good?
13th goal of the year for Dyson Williams, as that horn signifies the end of a very entertaining first quarter. Maybe not as high scoring as we thought it might be, but that's because both goaltenders standing on their heads. 2-2 after one. 1v2, all even at 2 as we head to the second quarter. Q, we talked about how the goaltenders have been outstanding in this game, and Mike Adler already 7 saves.
He's a graduate student, a transfer from St. Joe's. He grew up in Florida, where he was a pretty avid surfer. Played for St. Thomas Aquinas. Today, he's been outstanding. That save right there is unbelievable. Look at him move on his line. Your stick's not going to make every stop for you, so you got to move your body. Be willing to take shots in the thighs and the shoulders and the arms, and that's what he's done a nice job of today. He's moving pipe to pipe, seeing the ball, and being reactive.
Older brother Max works for ESPN, just drafted into the PLL. Good week for the Adler family. There's Krieg. Coach loves his poise. Remember earlier in the year he was dancing in goal, just so loose. We're talking about a freshman here. Look at that shot. Nicky Solomon wasting no time putting Carolina back on top.
Right off the face-off. Tell me, Solomon's having a year or what? I mean, the chemistry he has built with Chris Gregg has led to a certain freedom. I mean, it's kind of like he's on a hot streak. Look at him smile. He's just totally relaxed. I mean, he's just feeling it. Catches this as a point man. He's given the real estate and he's like, yeah, I can stick a corner. Boom.
Beso and Tuch. This has been fun to watch tonight because it's led to offensive opportunities. Tucci wins.
Both of these teams, Chris, I think have great athletes who are also face-off specialists. You know, they're not the old school dinosaur motorcycle grip, plunge, you know, dive on the ball, flip it to a teammate and run off. They can handle the ball. They're offensive threats. They're really good athletes.
Carolina's won 3 draws in a row. Ball on the ground right in front of the crease dangerously, but Duke is able to pick up the ground ball. You said it during the break in between periods. Both of these teams have been very good on off the ground tonight in picking up these GBs.
So important in a high-level game like this, defensively, to be clean off the ground. When you do make a stop, or block a shot, or dislodge the ball, you know, one-and-done type possessions. And that last play by Wilson Stevenson, 19 in white, was spectacular. Strong scoop, cradle, speed to space, find a teammate.
Big Sean Lowry working his way on this midfield line, as is Riley Walsh, a veteran. Played some attack in midfield in his time at Duke. Now down the alley with speed. Behind the cage, Sowers now in reverse.
Good matchup.
Good matchup here, yeah. Makes a move, goes down low, but Krieg is there. Inside the crease, dangerous, but Krieg picks it up. Now Carolina will look to move quickly. Outlet to Alexander. Goes back to pick it up. Finds Lawhead. Connemar looking back, see if coach wants to substitute in. He does. Bringing in O'Connell. Good two-way midfielder himself, McCarthy. Bresci's like 15 yards on the field. Flag coming down. He's not happy. Or he is happy about this. He was calling for the penalty and he got it. So a delayed call against Duke. Here's Trippy. Good look inside, and it goes in. Well, he found Jacob Kelly, and I'm not sure whether Jacob Kelly shot it or they just lost it out of his stick, but it rolled past Adler, and it's a good goal for Carolina.
Carolina's got tremendous depth of scoring. So many different guys are contributing to the mix. Trippy, known for his quickness, his speed. Was that ball shot or just redirected by Jacob Kelly, who having a monster year?
Look at Kelly describing to his teammates how great of a goal that was.
Hey, Jacob's doing well. You know, he's not a starter, but he's playing, I don't know, what, 70 to 75% of the game, Chris? And he's so productive in his minutes. I mean, every time he's out there, he's hitting corners, he's scrapping from grounders. He's really been a vital part of the depth.
Constant harassment. Carpenter had it initially, but lost it.
The style of this game favors North Carolina, okay? It's kind of an up and down game. There's some ground ball scraps. They're creating tempo. They've taken Michael Sowers out of the offensive equation. So if you're judging this game by style, advantage for the Carolina Tar Heels.
Carolina still man up and up 2 goals when we come back. (4-2) our score. Carolina on top of Duke. Second quarter here in Durham, North Carolina. Tar Heels still a man up. 1 versus 2. We talked about it in the open, how it has never happened in men's lacrosse between these two hated rivals. And they're number 1 and 2 in the country with a lot of ACC teams behind them too. Maryland has been special. I did their game against Rutgers this past weekend. They're very good. Got Syracuse and Notre Dame. Anish and Kark going to call that game on Saturday. So a lot of great lacrosse this weekend coming up.
Maryland is methodical and really balanced. All different units, whether it's their attack, their midfield, their face-off group. Love their defense.
Gray up top now with the man up. Skip pass over to Trippy.
Gray's got range from up top. He's not afraid to let it go from 15 yards. 4 in Carolina blue, top of the formation.
Solomon looking up top to 4. You said it. Looked like that might have gotten deflected on its way to the goal. It stays with North Carolina. 5 in the man up. Adler goes down to stop that rocket from Perry. 8th save of the game for Adler.
That was a great ground ball play by Braden Burke, 35 in white, to come up with that rebound. He saw it. He tracked it right off the goalie up into the air, and he made a move. Scoops it up, finds Adler, and they clear. There's a lot of good, subtle ground ball plays going on in this game to gain your team possession.
Caputo now, inverted. Anderson's not a bad two-way midfielder, though, 21 on him. Can play that way. But Caputo trying to work the mismatch. Krieg is there.
Trailer.
Surprise, surprise. Yeah, punt return. Here we go. Trying to take it to the house.
Didn't love that shot, considering that Duke has played a lot of defense here. I wanted to see maybe a longer possession, give their D a breather, get Nakai Montgomery in the mix.
Gets away from Kelly temporarily. A.T. Giles Harris was checking Jacob Kelly. That's Will Nicholas.
The 55 situation. See the two players bottom of the screen.
Nicholas gets taken down.
Wow, no flag.
Could lead to a fast break opportunity for Duke. Sowers gets a step. Ooh. That's patented, isn't it?
Tell you, he just leaves his man. He dusts his man behind the goal with a change of direction. He cuts it towards the point of the goal there, right behind where the goal is. He's got a two-way go there. He can continue left-handed, or he can cut it off and split it. And when he does, ooh, he's always a second ahead. It's like he creates this jump cut like Allen Iverson. Crossover.
Montgomery. Robertson now behind the cage. Kyle wants to get it back to him. Goal line extended with a short stick on him.
And Robertson dodged. We know he can shoot.
Underneath the defender, but the slide comes. Someone's got to be open. It was Lowry, and he scores. Just got by Creed.
Sean Lowry is one of 15 grad transfers on this Duke roster. Nice look by Robertson after he draws the double team. Krieg, the lefty, is there. He gets a solid chunk of this, whether it was his hand or the stick head, and that ball just trickles in. Sean Lowry has scored big goals in his career. Foxborough, New England.
First face-off violation of the half. Goes against North Carolina.
Carolina bumps 2 poles up. As I said earlier, you get 4. They're putting a pole on Dyson Williams, and they put a long pole defender right now on Caputo, meaning they leave a midfielder down low on this attackman, Joe Robertson, right here.
Yeah, it's Connor Marr on him. Denenza. And the shorty on Denenza, too, the freshman. This matchup right here. 88 with the ball in his stick. Sowers setting a pick. In low, Dyson Williams turns and scores.
Tell you, Dyson Williams can handle in traffic. He's a product of the indoor game north of the border. Great body control. The defender goes for the takeaway check right there. Misses, and Dyson Williams falling to the turf finishes, and nobody celebrates better than Dyson.
You and I did Duke a lot, as we were talking earlier, beginning of last year, and Dyson was one of, if not the top freshman last year coming out of high school, and he got off to a slow start, but the last 4 or 5 games before we had the COVID cancellation queue, he really started to heat up. So then coming into this year, you had this influx of talent like Sowers and Robertson getting healthy. Where was he going to play? It seems like he's found a home.
He has now at the midfield, and John Danowski has a wealth of riches. I mean, you think about guys like Joey Manown, Basile. He's got options. If he doesn't think that Robertson can make penetration against that midfielder, he can always. He's got guys on his bench who are proven playmakers in big games.
Just past the midway point of the second quarter, all tied up at 4.
Ooh.
Adler with yet another save. And controlling the rebound. And a quick outlet. 9 saves for Adler. At Camille, short stick D-Midi, brings it across to O'Neal.
Nakai likes this matchup.
Gets to the middle of the field. Marr chases him down.
He just
like
needs
he's
more
probing.
space. He needs his guys to get through and get out of his way.
There's Lowry again. Quickly to Sowers, who turns and shoots over the top. There's Montgomery again, this time on Alexander. Shifty. Robertson just misses. He had a really good look.
Duke's starting to get a lot more comfortable against this Carolina defense. It's pressing out and trying to shut off Michael Sowers.
Sowers with a pick. Now they get to work this big little here. Got Connor Marr on him. This is a huge mismatch for number 23. Slide comes as he tried to force it in the middle. Shot clock violation as O'Connor gave chase, so a good defensive stop that time by UNC.
Nice
Stemming the
D
tide
on
a
the
bit.
perimeter, and they collapse the middle on that Sowers feed, and then Marr, 31. How about that ground ball play in traffic? That was awesome.
Marr's going to run like a half marathon tonight, number 31 for North Carolina. I just don't get, I mean, I know they're young, and so they got a lot of energy. Sometimes I wonder how on earth they do it. I mean, really, I couldn't run the length of this field without needing oxygen. This is going to be an open shot for Gray. How do you leave him that open? He makes you pay.
Starts with the defense and the tough, dirty ground balls by Marr. And now you're cheating upfield a little. There's a momentary, maybe a lack of communication on defense. Gray is left unaccounted for. And how about that shot, Chris? He drops his stick down low. The goalie bites on it and drops. And then he just paints the upper corner. There's a little bio on Chris Gray, Long Island native. His dad's a retired police officer. Played at BU and then transferred to North Carolina.
Adler couldn't make the stop. We talked about how offense is being generated by these face-off men, and Zach Tucci picks up his third goal of the year.
Tell you, Tucci loves to go forward. That's a front exit on a face-off. And when he gets hot, look out. The defense gives him all sorts of real estate to run right down the middle. And he uses the earth, jamming that ball down into the turf and then over the shoulder of Adler.
Totally agree.
Duke now making a little bit of a change at the face-off X. Carolina was still able to win possession. Just.
Glove falls off.
Flag,
the
yeah.
ball was loose with the glove off. If Chris Gray had possession and his glove fell off, it's a whistle and Carolina maintains possession. But prior to the glove falling off, we had a slash.
That may have been the reason for the glove coming off. Wilson Stevenson, he'll sit for a minute, guilty of the slash infraction. Carolina man up. 0 for 2 so far tonight on the extra man. 6 man-up goals on the season for the Heels. Gray, the cross pass. Still 43 seconds.
Smoke and mirrors going on, and next thing you know, Tanner Cook's posted on the back pipe, and Gray's throwing a skip pass to him.
6'3", Tanner Cook.
Circle! Tyler out!
Here's Trippy, back to Anderson, over to William Perry. He's got 4 man-up goals himself this year. 3 is just a sniper over there, although he can't handle the pass. And it's a costly turnover. to get it across the midfield line. He's going to have to chuck it. Oh, it was deflected out of bounds, so it's a break for Duke. Here's Robertson.
Sowers now goes inside. He's being shut off by Macri. Let's see if the Duke uses him as a picker. If he goes up and sets a pick to try to create a matchup change.
Denenza. Good-looking athlete for Duke, freshman. Caputo. Working on Bresci. Back to his left. Bresci stumbles a little bit. Caputo wasn't able to put it on Cage. Now Sowers has it with Macri. Still 10 to shoot. Benenza in front to Robertson. Easy goal for Duke.
Coach Dino's got to like that late in the shot clock. Things aren't looking good, but somehow Carolina's defense starts flowing ball side. Little communication. Player left open on the backside. How about the vision to find him, to look through the defense? I'll tell you, Robertson has been awesome this season. Big family of lacrosse players. He missed last year because of that knee injury. Brother transferred over. Phil from Princeton as well.
30 goals on the year for Robertson. That was like a bonus, right? Sowers coming in, and then now all of a sudden you get a healthy Robertson to play alongside him?
For our experienced fans, he's a guy that reminds me of Matt Bockley, who was such a great goal scorer at Virginia, who played off of Steele Stanwyck. Robertson plays off of Sowers. He's always a step ahead. He's the guy you probably don't want to play chess with in the Duke locker room.
Had a little bit of space down the alley, now back up top to Robertson. Through traffic, couldn't get it through traffic though. Marr giving chase. So two Carolina players hit the deck. This could be a chance for Duke. Nakai, swim dodge. Just got free in front. O'Neal will fire. Ooh, that is dangerous. Now the flag comes out.
Looked like Nakai, did you see? Looks like Nakai got hit after he released the ball.
Let's go!
A tripping call coming up against North Carolina. And a timeout by Duke to talk things over as they're going to be man up. Take another look.
Matt Wright goes for the trail check, misses stick, follows through and clips Nakai in the heels. Excellent high school football player from Texas, Nakai Montgomery. Talented musician as well. Loves his bass, his guitar, his piano. Listens to Fleetwood Mac too. It's right up Coach Danowski's musical taste.
Not that Danowski loves Fleetwood Mac, but that Nakai Montgomery listens to Fleetwood Mac from the Episcopal School in Dallas. Dallas, DFW, if you talk about Atlanta, DFW is becoming a hotbed for lacrosse, man.
It is, and Nakai started playing as a third grader. Was always a two-sport athlete with football.
Let's take a look at what's coming up here on the ACC Network, ESPNU. I mentioned we have a big weekend coming up. Yeah. Anish and Clark got Notre Dame and Syracuse. Every one of these ACC games is going to be an absolute battle. Michigan and Hopkins coming up Sunday on the U. A Dahoga, Nanticoke, Les, Albany. Great Danes taking on Syracuse Thursday night on the ACC Network, and then another couple of big ones coming up over the weekend in the ACC.
A bunch of those venues, Chris, I believe, are going to start to welcome partial fans back to the mix.
Yeah, Homewood's going to have a little bit on Sunday. They've got players are allowed, I think, 4 tickets, maybe even some more. That was the last weekend, 4 tickets per player for family and friends, and maybe even a little bit more this weekend. Man up for Duke. Inside, Tyson Williams was there, but so was Colin Krieg. 6 saves for Krieg.
Yeah, Will. 30 seconds. I'm not good trying.
Now Carolina.
Nice job by
off.
Gray. Yeah, nice job by Chris Gray, 4 in the Carolina blue there. Realizes that they're trying to kill off the end of this penalty, and he kind of avails himself. You know, he comes back to the ball, Chris, to control things. That's what a great player and a leader of his team does.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
You hear the countdown. Duke falling to 0 for 2, man up so far in this first half. Final 50 seconds of said half. Perry trying to work a little bit of an angle up top against Camille. Cook, no angle, so he goes behind the cage. Now in front, he has a better angle, but Adler is there. He gets it back. Will he be able to put it past him? He cannot. Adler has been sensational.
Tanner Cook got buried
saves
into the goal, and Adler's just making save after save with his body. Took a beating as the shooter was driven into the goal mouth. See these goalies: helmet, gloves, chest protector, cup, and that's it. Save number 1. Watch save number 2, and watch 77 after the shot right there gets dumped onto the goaltender. A little bit of a flop.
Come on,
He will get the push in the back, though, against JT Giles Harris, and we'll get a timeout here with 23.2 left to go in this first half. So Carolina will have another opportunity, man up. How about Mike Adler? Both goaltenders have been great. His season high for saves is 15 in a game against Richmond earlier this year, and he's well on his way to get to that number.
Another look, the jam feed inside. That's just beautiful, the way he's moving his body post to post. Keep him on the lacrosse goal. 6 feet tall by 6 feet wide. It's much bigger than you'd imagine. A hockey goal is 6 feet wide by 4 feet tall, so add 2 feet on top. And you're just a human. Adler's, what, 5'10"? You've got to move to cover that real estate. Stationary goalies don't play at this level. And what Adler's done a great job of today is getting his feet, bringing his feet to the party, moving from pipe to pipe.
So Duke offense averaging 17 goals per game, and Carolina 18.38 goals per game, leading the nation coming into this thing. And yet both of them have gone on the Southern Conference tour so far this year and just starting ACC play, but still they're used to filling it up, in both these goal keeps, making sure that hasn't happened here in the first half.
Yeah, 1-2 scoring offenses. Yeah, 1-2 scoring offenses in the country. Okay, averaging, as you said, 18 and 17 per game. Carolina, high volume, 50 shots. It's a little less than 1 per minute. And then Duke, as efficient as it gets, leads the country in shooting percentage at 40%. 35% for Carolina is nothing to shake a stick at. Both teams have gaudy numbers.
Adler coming into this game 8th in the country in goals against.
I didn't think this game would be a track meet.
You were right. You wanted the under. Big chance here, though. Carolina 0 for 3 extra man. They've had 2 turnovers in those attempts. Gray fired. Just 4 seconds left to go in the half.
Hold the ball. They'll possess to start the third quarter.
That's what Tanner Cook does, and a very entertaining first half comes to a close. You see Duke, they're not used to trailing much at the half, and they went on to win that game against Denver in the opener all the way back on February 5th. Chris Gray showing up, as has Nicky Solomon today for North Carolina. Duke battling back, though. Big fella, Sean Lowry with a goal. 6'5", heels on top. 6'5", Carolina on top of Duke as we get set to start the second half. Number 1 versus number 2, and so far number 2, 1 goal better, and a big part of that was Nicky Solomon in the first half. Junior out of Alpharetta, Georgia, with a couple of goals, Q.
Done a nice job at working off of Chris Gray. There he takes the feed right-handed, his angle is decreasing, so he gets rid of it right away. I think the difference in this game, though, right here, the goal off the face-off by Solomon. He's the point man on that fast break, and then another goal off a face-off.
Dyson Williams running out of the box now in that midfield spot, taking advantage of a mismatch with a shorty on him. Scores a couple of goals in that first half. Nice look from Enza there as he buries it. And then Q, really, when you think about it, both goalies have been great in this game, Mike Adler and Colin Krieg, and they're keeping the score low, relatively speaking.
Adler 12 stops, Krieg has 6. I think what's caught me off guard, Duke only has 11 shots on goal. They haven't handled the defensive strategy of basically face guarding Michael Sowers very well. Let's see if they make some adjustments at halftime. Overall, though, I will tell you this game has been extremely physical. Ground ball play is fierce and intense.
And Carolina gets on the board early. We do have a flag, and keep in mind at the start of this second half, they were man up and had possession, and the goal is good. So just 9 seconds into the second half, Justin Anderson uses some of that relaxing with Peacock mojo to put Carolina up 2. Push with possession waved off. Kostanowski not very happy about the way this second half has started.
Well, Carolina maintains possession. Solomon, he's played hard. And just a late rotation by Duke. I'm not sure what the deal was there from your defensive integrity and communication and rotation. And to Anderson, Kark spoke to at halftime, the relaxing jinx may be dead.
I don't even know why you had to bring that up. Wasn't even a part of this game. There's no jinx. Anderson just completely threw that out the window 9 seconds into the second half.
He Las Vegas, Nevada. Kind of a mature, calming presence on his team. I mean, he's got a wife, child on the way, job lined up, and the ability to play college lacrosse for one more spring with his friends.
Now Duke down 2 goals. Walsh got free momentarily behind to Robertson. Tried to get it inside to Lowry. Big loose ball in front of the crease. Picked up by O'Neal. Just can't seem to solve Krieg tonight. Walsh fired it, but Krieg was right there. Johnny on the spot. 7 saves for Krieg.
Carolina has dictated the terms of engagement in this game defensively by face guarding Sowers, changing up some of their defensive pole matchups. Will Bowen has shut down the lefty, the big lefty, O'Neal, and their midfield defense has held their own in matchups. Will that change? We'll see.
Adler stirred this one aside. Sounded like I may have got a piece of the pipe, too.
See if Chris Gray takes JT Giles to the rack.
Perry back behind the cage. Now it's Cook's turn. Slides back with his left and scores.
Bench loves it. Watch the subtle head fake at the tail end of this. Cook will post up, drive up left-handed. Circle to the outside and watch the head fake. He just tucks his chin a little and looks down at the goalie's feet. Boom, Adler buys the fake.
Big start for Carolina to start this second half. Now they've pushed the advantage to 3. Face-off has been huge. Carolina has a couple of goals directly off the face-off tonight. Aso has held his own, though, against Tucci. It's been a battle we'll continue to watch. There you see the face-offs all leaving at 7. Bad pass, though. Turnover. Six turnovers against Carolina. Now O'Neal with a full head of steam. He shoots. Finally, O'Neal gets going, and this may get 34. Starting to hit on all cylinders in the second half.
tell you, this young man has all sorts of skills. Not only is he big at 6'3", 220, but he can run like the wind. And out in space there, you see him just turn it on a notch and just run right by his man, freeing up his hands and putting that ball in the far post. St. Anthony's, Bayshore native, the most hyped freshman in, I don't know, the last decade or two, based on some eye-popping and viral club and high school social media highlights. He's delivered, though, Chris. I got to tell you, he's lived up to expectations in my book. I love the way he plays.
Big ground ball by Tyler Carpenter. Flags all over the place. Now we get the whistle. May get a slash against Carpenter after he picked up that GB.
Two. Lawhead and Tucci. You know the definition of toughness in lacrosse, Chris? It's scooping up a ground ball knowing that you're going to get checked. It's willing to get the ball knowing that you're going to get slashed. It's running up the sideline knowing that you're going to pay the price. Okay, when that ball's loose on the ground and you're the first guy there and you're being trailed, you can just anticipate, I'm going to get slapped on my left elbow so hard, and I'm going to love every second of it because I'm going to scoop this ball and run to space. And that's what Carpenter just did.
Two-man advantage for a minute. O'Neal's going to fire and score.
He's stepping up. The big boy's stepping up.
Two straight goals.
Two man down for the defense. I mean, they have four players. You see them, they're standing in a box in a square formation. And O'Neal says, you don't want to play me. You don't want to play me. So he hop steps, crow steps, shuffles in. This is well within my range. And he beats Krieg down low. That's where a goaltender and the defenders have to be on the same page with how far do they need to spread out? How far do they need to go out and get in that shooter's hands?
Nakai with the assist. Naso now winning the face-off. But Tucci does a nice job in back-checking. Again, Carpenter with the ground ball. Coach talked about how he and Stevenson didn't play their best games against Syracuse. And they had a lot of work this week between those two. And man, Tyler Carpenter's picking up everything off the ground tonight. Delayed call against Carolina here again.
John Danowski, we treated Syracuse as if we lost the game. That catch you off guard, Connor? Or kind of caught me off guard?
Paid dividends for him, obviously, with the hard week of work they had. Carpenter has been great tonight. Williams, rather. Now he gets some space off the pipe.
Game certainly had a physical nature in the first half. We noticed that. I thought it was a intense ground ball play, some hitting, some checking, and it seems like now in the second half the officials are clamping down on that, saying, you know what, guys, we let you run. A nice grounder by Kenny Brower in traffic.
That was the call. It's cross-check, or it's a 30-second penalty here against Tucci. Push, so another man-up opportunity for Robertson and Duke. Pudo behind the cage. There's O'Neal. Man, that's just no goal. Waved it off. Sowers, I was about to say that's automatic, but Sowers stepped on the crease.
He's allowed in the crease. It's that goal mouth, that internal half circle there that he's got to stay out of.
Fell into the goal mouth. Dangerous loose ball in front. Carolina tracks it down with Alexander.
That internal goal mouth was added to lacrosse to protect goaltenders from diving players at their legs. So you can dive tangent to that inner circle. Feet have to be outside the crease when you shoot, and then you can land in as long as you're out of that inner circle.
Tanner Cook converting with shorty Terry Lindsay on him. Those long reach arms, and he scores. Lindsay couldn't catch up to that wingspan, Q.
Well, he's scouted as a left-handed player, so everyone thinks he's going to go to his left. But one-handed, I mean, he just reaches around him. What is he, 6'4", 6'3"? One-handed flick shot. Carolina does a great job of clearing out and giving him all sorts of space. And you see Cook, this first midfield line is showing up today. William Perry, Justin Anderson, Tanner Cook. A lot of experience.
Naso wins it to himself out front. Pass just a little off to Robertson, so Duke now will settle in, down 2 goals once again. In this half, Duke's won 4 or 5 draws, so Naso starting to exert himself.
Hey, Kevin Unterstein, defensive coordinator for North Carolina, deserves a lot of credit. This is a fairly exotic scheme he has put in, and they're executing. Carolina didn't play last weekend. Gave him a little extra time to put this stuff in.
O'Neal trying to power up field. Misses the target. Sowers chases it down. Sowers with just the 1 goal in that first half. Cam Mackery's been unglued to him all night. Robertson, jump shot, and he scores!
Well, this is part of the strategy. They put the midfield defender on Robertson. They think Mark can handle him. That's pretty good defense, quite honestly. He's on the lower hand of the shooter as the jump shot goes. That is maybe one tonight where Krieg has a chance to make it. I'm not saying that was a great shot. It wasn't a bad shot, but you see Robertson, good numbers tonight as his line mate Sowers is relatively being held in check.
Andrew Tyre now at the face-off X for North Carolina. Bresci has that 1-2 punch. Both Tyre and Tucci have had a lot of success this year, but Naso started to put his stamp on this game for Duke. Clock ticking down inside 8.5 here in this third quarter. Caputo checked by Lawhead. BU transfer. What an unbelievable goal by Owen Caputo. That's a twister from about 8 yards, Q.
Wow, this didn't look good. He turns the corner, watch the pick right there by Sowers, gives him a little edge. But here, when the double came, I thought he was getting himself. He was running nowhere. Bresci hits him with a significant shot. Boom, right there. He's falling to the turf. I don't know, did he twist it or switch hands? What a finish.
Yeah, he switched while he was falling down.
That's a ridiculous shot. It was pretty well defended. The ability to handle that double and be strong.
Tied up for the first time since we were 4-4 in the first half. GBs have been hard fought for all night long. Lindsay giving chase here.
That's fierce stuff. Bodies flying.
Little extra step in Duke. Yeah, pep in Duke's step right now, don't you think?
Yeah, I think they've made some adjustments here at halftime in their settled sets. At least that gives them maybe a little more comfort level. Where in the first half, they were kind of playing frantically in their 6-on-6 sets. So they have an idea where they're bringing Sowers and using him as a pick man.
Don't forget ND and Syracuse, noon Saturday, ESPNU, and Ishan Kark with the call. Promises to be yet another barn burner in the ACC. Now Solomon with Brower on him. O'Connell. JT Giles Harris switches out on him. Here's Trippy. O'Connor shoots. Adler is there.
Excellent rebound control as well from Adler. Look at the saves. Adler had a great first half with 12 in the first 30 minutes.
Montgomery. Spinning free on the clear.
And that's like a running back taking a pitch off a right tackle.
Krieg is there to stop Montgomery, though. That was Duke's bid to take their first lead of the night. And here comes Will Bowen. Adler goes up, man. These goaltenders are like cat-like quickness tonight.
Great job by Bowen to create separation and space off the ground ball win. And Solomon shoots for the corner there. You know, that's not a bad shot. It's either going in the corner or it's going out of bounds, and he's got the backup, so it's almost a free take.
Officials have been busy tonight. We've seen a lot of laundry.
Patty Palin getting a lot of face time as well. I would love to see Matt ref a game in those orange Syracuse football pants he used to wear. Bring those back. Drake Porter, bring those back.
Patty Palin will look
Those
at
are the
him.
best.
Mark McGinnis,
I dare some goalie somewhere to wear football pants.
32nd man up for North Carolina. Trippy quickly over to Cook. This will be a shot. Adler watches it go over the top. Still 9 seconds to shoot for North Carolina. In the penalty, I should say. 57 seconds on the clock, shot clock.
Hey, get down here! Get down here!
Solomon up to Trippy. Inside to Cook, who shovels it. Doesn't get to the goal. Gray will pass to Trippy, who gets an open look. Gets a better angle. But Adler is there. Turnover back to North Carolina and a fresh 80.
That's the critical element of it now. And Carolina, kind of like body punches to this Duke defense. It's going to be a long period to defend.
Trippy upfield. Cook will get a look. Passes it over. 15 saves now for Adler. Gray fires and scores. Wow. Says he hadn't heard from me in a while. Take that.
Hey, that is such maturity by Chris Gray, and he hasn't gotten as many touches today as he's typically gotten this season, but he waits his turn, left-handed down the alley. Look at that placement.
(10-9) our score, 5:10 left to go in the third quarter. You see Joe Bresci. Happy birthday to his wife, Julie, celebrating her 33rd birthday once again. I believe it was yesterday, so wanted to make mention of that. See the RW on the front of his hat there? That's for Roy Williams, announcing his retirement today. These two are really close, Q, and Roy Williams has been a huge supporter of North Carolina lacrosse and all spring sports for that matter. And Coach Bresci today tweeting out one of the greatest mentors and individuals in coaching I've ever met. Thank you, Roy and Wanda. Simply the best.
Roy Williams
wish all the
donated
best.
over $600,000 of his own money so that seniors who lost their spring season in 2020 could come back and finish their careers up.
Solomon on the outside of the cage. Gray riding like a banshee on Giles Harris. How about that? Again, your best player riding against Duke's best defender, maybe the best defender in the country to get the ball back.
Gray is such a competitor, isn't he? He's so willing to do what's best for the team. So strong.
Hustling. Getting that ball back to Duke, number 43. Crossfield pass to Lindsay. Again, Duke has never led in this game. It's been tight throughout, though. Carolina's largest lead, 3. Now Charlie O'Connor, the freshman, on Bresci. Here's O'Neal, also a freshman. Checked by Sean Morris, back behind the cage. Sowers. Back to his right, O'Neal at X. Sowers has room. Nice play by Bowen. Advance the ball. Look at Carolina here trying to clear. Both teams even on the night in a lot of categories, including shots, 33 apiece. Huge game in women's lacrosse this weekend in the ACC as well. Another number 1, number 2, this time Carolina, who's dominating against Syracuse. Probably their biggest test of the year. Trippy, tough catch inside.
Love talking to both these coaches who had so much excitement for this matchup tonight. They've become big fans of this Thursday night ACC network games, just kind of standalone games. Says they could just feel the energy from the players and from people around the program. John Danowski telling us he felt it would have been a sellout tonight for this game, and both coaches playing music to kick off our conference calls with them.
Yeah. Classic rock. Bresci chose Stones. Danowski went with the Who. Trippy. Not a whole lot of muster on that shot. Stays with Carolina, but just 1 second to shoot. Go ahead and leave it in the corner and set up their ride. Carolina's done a great job taking care of the ball in this quarter, just their second turnover. It's enabled them to keep the lead. That's Camille now bringing into the offensive end for Duke. O'Neal. Robertson with Connor Marr on him. So keep an eye on that with number 8 here with the ball in his cross. He'll look to dodge. Slide comes, now back up top. Sowers with Marr on him. Robertson. Inside. Caputo scores. We are even once again.
They use Sowers as a pick man. They draw the switch, then back to Robertson, and the defense is kind of inching upfield, and Caputo, who's down low on the pipes, senses that and curls right-handed as Sowers and Robertson draw the attention up top. I'll tell you, Caputo was off to a great start last year as a sophomore in 2020 when the season was cut short.
Yeah.
He showed dramatic improvement from his freshman year.
2 goals tonight. Robertson has 3 assists as he got a helper on that one. And I got to look to see how many GBs number 33 in white has tonight. He has been all over the ground with a vacuum cleaner. Six GBs tonight for Tyler Carpenter.
Clock and shot clock important here.
Yep, clock under 50 seconds now as Walsh gets a little bit of a shove from Bresci. Shot clock is a non-factor. Keep an eye on that game clock. Robertson off the pipe, goes way out before Lowry is able to track it down. Stays with Duke. Now we get a whistle. 31.6 in this third quarter. Our officials get it straightened out. Lowry hands it off to Walsh. Making sure we get the clock right. Obviously, the 10-10 game between these two. Want to make sure they get every second out of this game. 35.1 the clock was adjusted to, and now we're ready to go. Walsh biding his time on Bresci. Clock inside of 20 now.
Like covering a wide receiver in space. You turn and run with them hip to hip.
Robertson looking for a cutter. To his right, shoots and scores! First lead of the night for Duke Q. Yeah, it was 7 seconds to go in the third.
Joe Robertson, are you kidding me? Right-handed, switches over left, roll back, right, jump shot. Singed corner. He is doing some big-time talking tonight. Carolina wants to put the short stick midfielder on attackman Joe Robertson, and suddenly Robertson having a monster night. Look at those numbers.
Missed all of 2020, missed the first 2 games of 2021, but he's making up for lost time in a big way. 3-3 on the night. Naso, will they get another opportunity here? He's going to get a shot. Just wasn't able to get anything on it as he was well defended. But Duke, in the waning moments of that third quarter, taking their first lead of the night. Number 1 versus number 2. Duke, Carolina, heading to the final stanza, a 1-goal game. Do not go anywhere. Top-ranked Duke up a goal, start of the fourth. Chris Gray, he certainly has showed up tonight, Q, one of the 2 Tuarton finalists, or I should say, we presume they're going to be finalists at some point in time. Favorites.
We'll see. Chris Gray right now the most productive player in the country coming into this game. 6.6 goals per game. A skill set that's got all sorts of variety to it, whether it's an outside shot on the run, whether it's the inside game, the creativity. For Duke, it's about Michael Sowers, the grad transfer from Princeton. Dip and dunk on the inside. Typically, he's got a lot of ball time where he's dancing behind the cage trying to set up his teammates, but he's been shut off, so his numbers and touches have been down. This is, Chris, what we think of the Tuarton race. Jared Bernhardt, Sowers, Chris Gray. Looks like a 3-horse race right now.
Is it presumptuous on my part to say finalists, even though they haven't been announced and they won't be for a while? I think it's a fait accompli.
Again, it's April 1st.
Right. Solomon.
A lot can happen. I bring up a guy like Brendan Nichtern of Army. Like, if Army beats Syracuse, if Army continues to win games in the Patriot League and makes a run towards the playoffs and beyond, Brendan Nichtern is a player who deserves to be at the Tuarton banquet as a finalist.
As it stands, 2 we mentioned tonight on top-ranked and second-ranked team in the country. And then Bernhardt, Cook, boy, he certainly had a thought. Now he fires. I think that might have gotten a little piece of the pipe.
Cook has a way of mesmerizing people, doesn't he? With the big cradle and the stick fakes. You got to take the big man's body. You got to look between the sevens. You got to take it with some force.
Perry looks to come upfield. He wants to get it to Gray. In traffic. Trying to get it to Solomon. There's all kinds of stick traffic in there.
Look out.
He's in a little bit of trouble. That's Kelly. That's Kelly in a little bit of trouble. Sticks all over the place. He survives with possession.
Oh, Brower. You do not want to go in there.
Anderson falls down. Perry falls down. Still 26 to shoot for North Carolina, so no panic in Gray, but he's got Lindsay on him, so can he take advantage of a little mismatch here? Back to his left, he'll shoot. Adler right there at the moment. 16 saves for Adler. Start of this game sharp, he has not relented.
Oh, he's been strong. Both these goaltenders, I think, have held up really well, as has the field. This Koskinen Stadium, Cotter, men's and women's soccer, men's and women's lacrosse. Okay, it's April 1st. Look how green it is. Yeah, there's a couple dirt spots, but this is a grass field, folks. This field is held up with some serious rain we've had this spring. Tip of the cap to Scott Thompson and the grounds crew at Koskinen.
Yeah, it's like a conveyor belt with teams going on this field almost all game long. The Kai couldn't quite handle the pass. It's going to be a turnover. 12 turnovers against Duke on the night.
Trouble here, trouble here.
Morris has to go back to get it. Krieg's calling for it. 10 seconds now to get it across the midfield line. Look at Krieg on his horse.
Take it all the way, baby. Oh.
You know Roddy Jones like that.
He actually couldn't take it all the way because he went off sides. You always need to have 4 back in your defensive zone.
Well, Duke looked to strike. Ackery quickly gets on Michael Sowers. Offensive coordinator Matt Danowski making his substitutions. Here comes Denenz and Caputo. Also out of the box is Dyson Williams. He's had a couple of goals tonight already. Caputo gets a little bit of a step, shoots it wide, trying to lose Matt Wright. There's Matt Danowski. Caputo will get it started. Over and out of Sowers, all the way out with Macri. Macri's just giving chase.
Nice job there, Macri.
Robertson, this will be a shot by Caputo. Doesn't quite get in. Denenza loses it. And right now, looking to clear.
Carolina playing some D tonight. Cam Macri, 28 in Carolina blue. The ability to drop, step, plant, accelerate, and close ground, and do it again. Lefty and then righty, back and forth, back and forth. He's matched feet with Michael Sowers, Chris, and Sowers has made people look silly this season.
Macri also, you think about it too, with Evan Egan out in this game, you knew he was going to get more playing time, and Kevin Unterstein, defensive coordinator, pushing all the right buttons. McCarthy, that's 9 shots in a row now that Carolina has without a goal. That scoreless streak is almost at 10 minutes for the Heels. Normally in this game, you would think that would be death. O'Connell fires, stays with North Carolina. .17 to shoot for McCarthy. Comes upfield with a head of steam, gets hooked. Tries over the shoulder shot, and he was in the crease, so it'll be a turnover back to Duke.
I don't mind that late in the shot clock. He kind of puts his head down and says, you know what, if I'm going to go for it, I'm really going to go for it. And it blows up. But late in the shot clock, that's not bad.
All's well that is ending well for Carolina as Duke turns it right back over to that. Now can the Heels clear?
That is an issue. Yeah, that's a big issue for Duke tonight. So these clearing mistakes.
Anderson. Now he's got to step on a defender. Help comes. Back to Gray.
There's very little free territory on this field tonight, Chris. I mean, everything is challenged. Every yard is challenged.
Yeah, you're hearing a lot of plastic popping out there. Sticks, helmets, shoulder pads, arm pads. Anderson. Here's Cook. Carolina blue closest to it when it goes out of bounds. They retain possession. 36 seconds to shoot. Here comes Gray. 11 straight misses on shots for Carolina. Cook, make it 12. What's going on with Carolina offensively here, Q?
A lot of perimeter stuff. No one can really cleanly beat their man and draw a double team. So they're settling for some maybe shots. Nicely tied up, JT Giles-Harris using his stick at the last second. Gray may have had a step on him, yeah, but he was running away from the goal. And 2 and White uses that stick and lifts the hands of the shooter.
Great pass, too. That shot by Carpenter is wide. Sowers does a nice job to make sure that they retain possession. Carpenter's going to have to go get some more hardware.
I need a Carpenter.
Call. The old days with the wooden sticks, he would need one. Listen. Now Walsh. Looking to work on Mark. Got it free for a little bit. Robertson. Montgomery. A little quiet himself. Oh boy, I tell you, O'Neal was just camped out in front, just couldn't quite get it to him. Walsh. Back to Robertson behind the cage. Now Mark gives chase. Walsh will look to spin back to his right, but doesn't have an angle. 20 to shoot. "18 seconds for the Blue Devils to shoot. It'll be in Michael Sowers' cross.
It's a shut off by Macri. He's going to play Sowers tight. It's a 1-3-1 zone.
O'Neal. No shot, says Krieg. On it all the way.
Stellar defense by Carolina. I tell you, all the guys held up in their matchups. That is, the men defending the ball. And then off ball, they had good spacing.
Lawhead, will he shoot? Just held it just a little bit too long. But Gray, look at Gray tracking it down. In front. North Carolina wanted to push, didn't get it. Now we get a whistle. Bresci hand on hips after that one. He wanted to push. His player was right in front of the crease and ended up sprawling. Didn't get the call. Williams. Dyson looked to make a move on the shorty.
Lefty.
Back to his right. Now Williams. This is Brennan O'Neal. Caputo up top. Been at 11-10 now for some time. It ends up working on Alexander. Shoot it behind the goal. Here's Robertson. We've seen him back there a lot tonight. Plenty to shoot for Caputo. Works off that Williams pick. Tries a swim dodge. Marr has been there, though. Loses his footing. Here's Robertson. Krieg makes the stop. Loose ball push against Duke. It'll go to Carolina. Krieg with 11 saves on the night. He and Adler have matched each other in terms of how sharp they've been. Mike Adler with 16 saves on the night for Duke.
This is a big possession now as we're approaching the 5-minute mark. Both teams with both of their timeouts. Carolina's offense has gone stagnant. They've only got one goal and feels like forever.
McCarthy now trying to dodge on Lindsay. Behind the cage to Gray. 15-minute drought cue in terms of the last Carolina goal. Trippy. Here's McCarthy falling backwards.
Who can beat their man and draw a double team?
Inside. Nicholas thought about shooting it before he even had full possession of it. McCarthy keeps it, though. That's going to be a pass, and it's going to be a turnover. Back to Duke. 10 turnovers now against Carolina. They really have not been sharp offensively for much of this second half. And now Nakai and company with that 1-goal lead, trying to remain unbeaten on the year. Walsh down the alley, gets a step on his defender. Now the help comes and forces him goal line extended. O'Neal.
Walsh getting a lot of time tonight, Chris. 42 and white. He scored some big goals in his career. This is a young man with a lot of confidence and a lot of maturity.
Really trying to work that alley, too. Now Robertson. Krieg. I mean, I just feel like a broken record tonight. 12 saves for Krieg. Adler's been so spectacular.
Good save and rebound control by Krieg, the lefty from Ward Melville. The proud franchise, 10 state titles, produced some great players. The Goldstein brothers, Greg Catrano. You name it, Ward Melville has done it.
You mentioned it, Q. Both these teams have 2 timeouts on the board, and Carolina and Joe Bresci going to use one here. Down a goal, final 3:10 of this contest. Maybe. Don't go anywhere. Joe Bresci in the heels coming out of a timeout. Down a goal, 3:10 left to go in this one. The drought is 17-plus minutes for North Carolina since they were able to hit the back of the net. Number 1 at stake as Carolina comes into this game in Durham. Ranked number 2, undefeated, as is Duke. But they hold the top spot. The only 2 teams to be in that top spot all year, Duke and North Carolina. So coming out of the timeout, let's see what Joe Bresci and Metzi do offensively. Anderson coming off a pick. He's open, and he scores!
Watch the pick and watch what happens. Duke just misplays that. There's got to be communication from defender to defender. It's either double, switch, or get through. And they got picked off. Too easy.
6th tie of the night between these 2 storied lacrosse franchises. How about 0, Lance Tillman taking the brunt of that pick and not moving. Now Tucci wins the faceoff. Can Carolina keep possession? They don't. Now the officials are going to talk it over. Do they grant a timeout to Carolina? It sounds like they did. So Carolina is able to retain possession by Bresci getting the timeout. Well, that is a huge timeout for North Carolina with this game tied at 11 apiece. Yeah, of course, Bresci's smiling, talking to Palin.
Here's the goal again. Watch the pick set, as you said, by Tillman right there. And it was just, it was just a situation where the Duke defender tried to plant and actually slipped. But how you want to play that is kind of like bookends, Chris. The defenders want to flank the pick like you do in basketball. And the rules are the same as basketball. It can't be a moving pick. The player has to be stationary. And your calls are either, get through, which is stay on your matchup, switch, or double. Those are repped weekly, almost daily at this Division I level.
Kelly Tillman and Gray, there you see, 9-0 and 4, Carolina. Anderson on the field as well. William Perry will put it in play.
See Coach Dave Metzbauer in the black jacket there, drinking a little sip with the dark hat. It's Metzi. That man has a lot of national championship rings. So many I've lost track.
Still working the winter beard, I see. offensive coordinator for North Carolina, drawing something up in that timeout. Last timeout certainly worked. Now we get the shot clock fixed, back to 72, so we're off. Tillman. Here's Anderson. Still plenty of time to shoot. Almost got under his defender, could not. Kelly working on Lindsay. Carpenter is there upfield. Great job by Lindsay checking it away and creating a loose ball situation that's picked up by the Blue Devils. Duke has scored in 39 straight quarters, every quarter this year. They've yet to score here in the fourth. They need one here to retake the lead in what has been a great lacrosse game tonight in Durham. Minute and a half to go.
Tell you, both these teams now will find out about the ability to execute under pressure. Duke had that 1-goal win over Syracuse a week ago, 15-14. Carolina's been slicing and dicing through the competition, Chris. This is a little new for them this year.
Yeah, Carolina had, you think about the ACC, that close game against Virginia on a Thursday night. That's a couple of weeks ago. Beat Air Force this past weekend. Coach gave them a couple of days off. They went on a paintball excursion, defense versus offense. He said defense dominated, so I guess General Unterstein was the one who orchestrated the big effort. There he is in the middle of this huddle. Kevin Unterstein, he's going to have to orchestrate a big defensive effort here with 1:26 left to go.
Tell you, Coach Unterstein and Coach Bresci there, you see the right, coming up with a pretty nuanced scheme here. The shutting off of Sowers, the matchups with their short sticks against Joe Robertson, and some of the slide packages, advanced stuff for April 1st. And I was a little worried, quite honestly, Chris, when Bresci said, yeah, we're going to put Cam Macri and do some funky stuff. I was like, oh no, but they've had answers, and it's all been executed really cleanly, really efficiently. So give North Carolina's defensive staff a lot of credit for this performance tonight.
On the other side, father and son there, Matt Danowski and head coach John Danowski drawing something up for this man right here, 23 in white, and the Duke Blue Devils. Caputo on the short stick, Marr.
Yeah, change of direction, his calling card, and he's got a good swim move as well.
Dyson Williams couldn't handle the pass. It's free in front. Big scrum. Who's going to come out with it? This is the biggest ground ball of the night, clearly.
Get it going your way.
Still loose.
Space.
Williams comes out of there, and he scores, but they called a timeout before he took the shot. As soon as he gained possession, Duke called their final timeout. So they will have the ball with 44.6 left to go.
That ground ball looked like rec league, 5 and 6 year olds. The ball was down on the carpet forever. Watch this. So the defense here doesn't want to overcommit to it. You typically kind of want to get it going your way, but you want to maintain your defensive integrity. So see how the guys in the blue jerseys are kind of protecting the goals. Dyson scoops it up.
Oof. Timeout was called before he scored. If you're Krieg in that situation too, Q, you've got to be on pins and needles, because as soon as that ball ends up in someone's cross, they could take a shot on you, and you could be blind to that shot.
Correct. No, that is an unusual play for a high-quality D1 game. Timeout comes in handy for the Coach Dino and the Blue Devils. Here it is. I mean, this ball's on the ground for a good 5 or 6 seconds. You don't see this. First, the Canadian comes down with the rock.
box experience for Dyson Williams.
I mean, you grow up playing box, you're digging balls out of the corner and off the goalie's pads your entire life. You're just so used to it. Those guys have an intrinsic ability to predict where the ball's going next.
Here we go, 44-6, Sowers. Trying to get it to Robertson in front, turns it over. Now watch out after Krieg. Ball on the ground. Picked back up by Duke and Robertson.
Wow.
A gift for North Carolina, they couldn't take advantage. Now it's O'Neal.
Clock. No timeouts.
O'Neal, one-on-one. Upfield, shoots. Off the pipe. Caputo wins the chase. 7.7 left to shoot for Duke.
That was a ridiculous take by O'Neal.
Sowers, what could he do with the clock winding down? 3 to shoot. O'Neal can't pick it up and the horn sounds. Of course, these two teams all knotted up at 11 apiece, and it's free lacrosse. And who wouldn't want free lacrosse between number 1 and number 2, Duke and Carolina? It's coming up. Cotter and Kesnick with you, 1 versus 2, 11 all as we head to overtime. Look at this shot by Brennan O'Neal at the end of regulation.
He is falling down to the ground, gets a half a step on Marr. He's flattened to the turf and then drops his stick and rattles it off the crossbar. What a move.
O'Neal has hit the pipe 3 times tonight. Snake bitten. Overtime rules, sudden victory. 4-minute periods until a team scores. 1 timeout per team per period. And the way these teams score goals normally, Q, you would expect this thing to end pretty quickly, but these two teams have played great defense tonight.
They have. One thing in Carolina's case, they've scored 2 goals quickly off of faceoffs.
Beso wins a tough draw. Huge to start this overtime period. That fourth quarter, first quarter of the year, the Duke has gone scoreless. And the timeout utilized by Kostanowski. Why not? You draw something up that works and you score, you go home.
All these ACC games this season seem like they could be headed to OT, whether it was Notre Dame, Virginia last week, Syracuse, Duke. Just get the feeling that if you're trying to predict scores in this league, just guess 13-12 for every game.
Yeah, the way Notre Dame plays defense, too, expect a close game between Syracuse on Saturday. See that game on the ACC Network. Check out our game summary. You see that 0 for Duke in the fourth quarter, just 1 goal for Carolina. Close throughout. And both Krieg and Adler in goal have been great. Adler especially tested in that first half as Carolina, Q, was not as efficient offensively and really I don't think gave themselves as many opportunities in the second half.
Well, this game has featured much better defense than you'd anticipate when you looked at the number 1 scoring offense, Carolina Tar Heels, shooting 52 shots a game against number 2 scoring offense in Duke. So it's been more defensive oriented. We kind of felt that, knowing that it would be a cold, kind of a damp night, windy. Both teams, Carolina having some extra time to put in some defensive schemes specifically to deal with that man right there, Michael Sowers. But the goaltending, the ground ball play has been so intense and so scrappy.
Sowers on Macri.
I got you.
Now Marr switches to him. This is huge right here, Sowers. Williams. Just wide.
Good look.
Now Robertson to put it in play to O'Neal. To Montgomery up top. Here's Caputo. Working on Parker Alexander. Behind to Robertson.
Hear the talk on
Now Sowers. Caputo with a swim move. Just steered aside. Big loose ball. O'Neal gets it. He shoots. Krieg is there.
Two big stops by Krieg, the freshman from Ward Melville. They had the reset. The first shot was saved and then the rebound kicked out. O'Neal fired the second one. Krieg was up to it. I tell you, that this young goaltender, you think about his flatline mentality, the body language, the ownership he takes when he gives up a goal. What a stop right there. Point blank range. And then the second one, much easier rebound control and the accurate outlet pass. Coach Bresci telling us that Colin spends all sorts of time, whether it's in the weight room, taking extra shots after practice, jumping rope. He's up against the wall. He's building a work ethic, a foundation, Chris, that allows him to execute when the pressure's on.
He certainly did there. 2 huge saves. Now Duke's scoring drought has reached 17 and a half minutes. 14 saves on the night for Krieg. Now it's Carolina's turn. And David Metzbauer to draw something up here in a timeout with possession. There's Metzi.
Coach has got so many plays in his head, so many different scenarios. What's he like right now? You know, this is a Carolina offense that has not been tearing it up late in the game. They went on a major scoring drought late in this ball game. They used last time they needed a critical goal, they went to the pick behind the goal where Anderson ran off the pick.
Perry comes back upfield. Inside, that's McCarthy. Transfer from Princeton on the field at a critical time. Perry, again, head up, looking for a cutter. Shoots. Adler was there. Now big scramble. Gray dislodges it from Adler. Unsettled situation here for Carolina. Gray will shoot over the top as Adler was down. And no one was there to back up for Carolina, so Duke gets possession. Now the all-important clear. Camille to Montgomery. Mackay will now back it up to Caputo, and Duke will work the possession. 30-second difference now between shot clock and game clock. Sowers. It's irrelevant because the next goal wins it anyway. Caputo. Swim dodge, gets his left hand free and over the top. Akai. Williams.
Sowers handles. Carolina goes into a zone behind it.
Macri checking him, trying to get a Robertson pick. Now Robertson has got more on him. Underneath, he shoots and scores the game winner for the Blue Devils. You got to feel for Krieg. Nothing the goaltender could do. It was a beautiful move by Joe Robertson.